to celebrate you guys. You guys are awesome. We just talked about breakfast really quickly outside, but you know that every meal is important. I mean, we take for granted sometimes. I know I did that. I'll have a meal for dinner. You know, when I'm hungry, I'll have lunch, I'll have breakfast, I'll have dinner. That's not the case for everyone. I think I read earlier this month that the USDA said Ohio ranks 3rd in the nation for families who have to skip a meal because they won't have enough money for it, which is insane when you think about that. 3rd in the nation. So what you guys do is so tremendous. It's so important. You really are the stars here. I mean, that's not just you really are the stars. Thank you for everything that you do. You fill a great void here, and you do amazing things. And I want to bring on stage someone who has been doing amazing things here since 1984, when he became executive director of the Mid-Ohio Food Bank. He served on the Columbus City Council from 1993 to 2006, and in his last 7 years, he was council president. So please join me in welcoming the president and CEO of the Mid-Ohio Food Bank, Matt Habash.
Thank you to Adam for coming out and spending the time with us and a chance to MC our event. I probably won't be up at 5 a.m. on Saturday, so I will have the DVR. Anyway, Adam said it really well, I think, in the sense that you are the reason we're here, to celebrate you. I think one of the things that we often do is we don't take the time as communities and as organizations to celebrate. There's amazing work being done each and every day, and sometimes we just want to pause and call attention to that, and to really say thank you to all of you for making the work that we do so special. And I think when you realize that collectively we touch over 525,000 different people in a year, that's what you're doing. So you may see one person at a time, that's what that's up to. You know, and it is about building a relationship with 525,000. That's what we've really been talking about. That's what you do every day when you smile, when you serve somebody, when you just get to know them a little better. And you're going to get a real treat today to hear a little bit about somebody that's doing that in an amazing way, one of our young people in this country. But I want to talk just a little bit about history, and just to give you a little sense of how far we've come. In 1980, when the food bank opened its doors, we distributed a little less than 300,000 pounds of food. 1984, the year I started here, when I was 2, we distributed 3 million pounds of food. This year, our goal is over 60 million pounds of food. I'm very mindful we couldn't do any of that without all of you. And I think that's the reason that we really wanted to come together. We do an all-agency staff meeting, and we do a lot of learning in that, and we just keep trying to help each other learn and do things. But we really wanted to say, how can we separate out, and what better way to close out Hunger Action Month than to recognize the tremendous efforts that each and every one of you put in to making sure that nobody in our communities go hungry. That is a hard thing to do. It's a lot of work. It's one thing to say we've gone from 3 million to 60 million pounds in the time that I've been around. Moving 60 million pounds of food is a lot of work. And I'm very, very mindful of how great a job each and every one of you do. And really, from all of us, really want to say thank you to that as well. We're up to 650 different partners. We're going to do 1,100 free produce markets this year. We couldn't do most of those without you. I mean, that's really the kind, in addition to the pantry work and the soup kitchen work and all of the other ways that we come together with homeless shelters and folks to feed people, to also say, okay, we're going to have a new idea, and we want to do produce markets, and to get everybody to understand what that is, to buy into that, and to do that so that we can get this fresh food out. We have a really simple mission in a sense of the way I look at it, and it's a sense of there's a lot of tremendous amount of surplus food in this country, and we have a lot of hungry people. How do we connect the two? And the real surplus food right now is fresh food. And that's why our business models changed so drastically. That's why we've asked all of you to do it, how to come up with more creative ways of getting fresh, healthy food into people's hands very quickly. So we couldn't do that with all of you. I also want to raise how many employees. This was a really fun event because we kind of turned it over to a team of people. Usually we have to leave all in the agency meeting, Bridget, her team, do all the work in that, and they tap into the other resources here. And we said, what if we came together differently as an organization? we're practicing what it means to be one team. So what if we had a one-team celebration? So everything you see here today in terms of what's been created has been by this amazing team of folks that came together who represent a small portion of the staff, some of whom you see. If you get a delivery, you see our truck drivers. If you pick up, you see the folks that work there. But day to day, you don't get to see all the staff. So I first want to have all the staff stand up. And I have everybody as a staff member here just to get a sense of this amazing team. They are absolute rock stars. They make me look good every day. They give me the microphone to talk, but they literally do a lot of work. And there's a lot more that would have come, but because so many of you came, we kind of had to put some people back to work and to make sure the food kept flowing. So that was part of it as well. I also have a number of board members that are here, and I'd like them to stand up as well, so I can see them, then I can recognize them. So all the board members stand up. You know. Brian Jensen from Ohio Health, Mark Stewart, formerly of Alliance Data, Rob Camp from White Castle, what's that name of that place? And John Carty, who I'll introduce a little later, who is from Safe Light. But there's a representative of our board that were able to make it with us today, and they literally are the folks that help us figure out the strategic direction. They really are folks that have invested in what the work that we're doing and really hold our feet to the fire in terms of how well we can perform and continue to do the things that we do. So we're very mindful of the work that they do, and they have been an inspiration and a challenge to us. I mean, they're really always pushing us to say, what next, what next, what next, what can we do more? And that's part of what we've been living into lately. We started an urban farm, and I can tell you, I didn't do it to grow food to replace the food that we're bringing in produce-wise, because we grew about 24,000 pounds of food in the last fiscal year. We gave away 24 million pounds of produce. So we're not going to replace what the big folks do, but the idea of having a farm and teaching education, teaching people where food comes from, having a community really get engaged in that process, explore whether we can make urban farming sustainable is the experiment that we're on. And really the community has come together. So the high school football team came and were a big participant in this. The community is involved in helping us figure out. They run the pay-if-you-can market there. And so that was the first one's on Groveport Road. Clearfield Farm. We're going to open a second one we just started that really get underway up on the hilltop. It's a way to say, can we take urban farming, bigger than a community garden, and really make it sustainable? So we sell some of the food to restaurants, some of the food to produce houses, and the food goes to the community as well. So it's kind of a combination of all of that, and it's continuing to introduce the idea of fresh food to people. That's one thing. And then just Friday, we opened up the Southside Roots and Cafe and Market. So if you haven't heard of the Reeve Avenue Center project, you get a chance to be on the south side around Reeve and Parson, go have lunch. Because this... I'd introduce you to that amazing team, but they are very busy. They're down there now. In addition to having a pay-forward cafe, which simply means if you can't afford a meal, we're going to provide you one. We're going to ask you to volunteer to help out. If you go down there to have lunch, instead of tipping, would you pay for it for somebody else who can't afford a meal? It's all around fresh, healthy food. We've got a mid-market market going in there, so we're selling low-cost produce, and at the moment a weekend special for people around low-cost milk, bread, eggs, all kinds of things that are in there. Additionally, we had last night our first community meal, so we had residents from the community come in. And just a really quick story, Kim and I were down there, and we saw a bunch of teenagers come in by themselves. Just showed up, and this isn't the easiest place to find. It's not advertised like a big wood on a corner. They came in, they sat down, they had an iPad, they were going through some typical things that teenagers would do, and they got to eat, and if they ate, they said, can we have seconds? And typical teenager, right? We all ate a lot when we were kids, at least mine did. And we said, sure, what would you like? And we think they had barbecue chicken. We figured they wanted the salad. So we had this idea that kids one of them had never had a salad, a fresh salad. They said it was so good they wanted more of it. So the idea of just introducing fresh food to people who may have never had the ability to have it before because they simply couldn't afford it. So here's an opportunity to take small things like that and really be able to do even more. So, and we're also cooking today for the first time for the daycare. There's 2-shift daycare. I think the second shift starts in a little while, but we're going to be cooking the meals for the daycare. We cooked the meals for the Boys and Girls Club that's in the space. Last Wednesday we started that, and they were raving about the meal, and there was nothing left when they got done eating. So the idea is how to use one kitchen, do a lot of different things in a community, But with those teenagers, and we had a senior citizen who I met on Saturday. She walked in today, she immediately said, "Hi, Matt." And then she had brought 2 of her fellow seniors to come have lunch or dinner last night. So it's a case of just building a sense of community. So small things that happen, and every one of you do those kind of things, they matter. And I think that's the message that if I could have for all of you, they really do matter. We also have a couple of county commissioners members or some staff. Marty Homan from Franklin County, is he here? He was supposed to be. There he is. He wants to stand up from Franklin County. Representing Franklin County is a big partner in our work. Is Jenny here from Belmont County? Jenny, how do you say your last name? Fabit. I didn't want to butcher this. My name is butchered a lot, so Jenny Fabit, who came all the way from Belmont County to be with us today. And Carl Davis. Look at this. He was with us from Monroe County. So we've got some people travel some distances as officials are representing government. So I really want to say thank you to you, because this is really about a public-private partnership at the end of the day. That's what makes this all work. If everybody does a little bit, we say we can do a lot. You're all doing your share. Collectively, it's amounted to over 525,000 people getting meals last year. So thank you to all of you for what you do. This is about a celebration, so I'm going to cut it off. I'm probably already over my time. But just want to say thank you, and to have the opportunity to bring Adam back up here, who's going to introduce me.
So Matt was giving me a tour earlier. This place is amazing. Like, crazy big. I had no idea. 3 times bigger than their last building. I also learned that the price of food over the next year is supposed to go up another 2 to 3%. So if there are families struggling now, you can just imagine that need is going to be greater in 2016. The Vice President of Agency and Program Services here at Mid-Ohio, she has spent her career working on public health programs to help those people in need. She believes affordable food access is a foundational element of any community. I'm sure you guys completely agree. And I have heard from multiple sources on this. Not just one person or 2 people. No one just handed me a loose leaf paper. Multiple sources have confirmed to me that she makes the best cookies at the Mid-Ohio Food Bank. Okay, bring up Bridget DeCrane. Bridget, good morning. Come on up. I mean, those cookies still have to be good, right?
Good morning. Well, almost, it's still a little bit morning. It's so interesting. Usually, I stand in front of groups of people with charts and graphs and try to convince them why it's so important to fund community-based feeding programs. That you have to make sure that every man, woman, and child in your community has the food they need to live active, healthy lives. But today, I don't have to do that, because you all don't just believe in it, you live it. Every day you're out there providing services and advocating for families in our community. So instead of convincing you of why this is so important, I just get to say thank you and let you know how much we at the Mid-Ohio Food Bank value your partnership. It's only because of these mutual partnerships that we're able to make sure that food is available in communities. And today we want to celebrate you as our community superstars. And when you think about stars and star status, you usually associate that with glamour and decadent lifestyles and throngs of people who adore those individuals. And while many of you will probably agree with me, you don't lead the most glamorous lives from day to day. I know the shop through and produce markets and inventory rotation is all very sexy, but it's hard work. It's not always glamorous. And decadence isn't a word you use every day. Decadence and overabundance are things that we're trying to bridge some gaps. But I can tell you one thing, you are absolutely positively adored. Not just adored by the food bank, but adored by the families and communities you serve. And the work you do every day is so meaningful. So we're just so thrilled you can come in today so we can celebrate you. And on that note, I would like everybody here who is a direct service provider to stand up. So we, our county commissioners and elected officials, ward members and staff, can applaud you. Because the work gets done because of you. Actually, the work gets done because of us. And I think our communities will continue to grow, be healthier, and thrive because of our partnerships. So please stand up and let us give you a round of applause. Don't be shy! Thank you. Come back up.
All right, it's time to die. You guys ready? Now, we have some delicious food for you from Milo's Catering. It's fantastic. It's out in the corridor right behind you. And we're also going to have some entertainment. The Ken Weaver Band is here. Over there, set up. They've been touring throughout Ohio for 12 years, so they are fantastic. We'll be dismissing by tables, so it's not one mad dash back to the back room. Also, bathrooms, by the way, as you can see, they are right out by the front door, so feel free to utilize those as well. But thank you guys again. Let's eat. We'll be dismissing by table again, and I believe the caterers will come around. So enjoy the next hour, mingle, make some friends. Send me some news tips. What do you want to do? See you guys soon. Enjoy the next hour.